Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. This is part 2 of building a MOC from start to finish, and this is my Lego Medical Center. Thank you everyone who watched part 1 and gave positive comments to this particular MOC. However, I did get several people who are unhappy with the fact that I decided to exclude a toilet in the build because there's a lack of space. Specifically, Brenda and Paul mentioned that all clinics or medical centers must have a toilet. So to please you, what I'm going to do, of course, because I do listen to my subscribers, I'm going to provide this little pail here, and I'll put the pail right behind in this corner, so now patients can actually use the toilet if they need to do so. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But I do listen to my subscribers and I gave it a lot of thought. Honestly, if you know my channel, you know I'm always really for having toilets in Lego cities. In fact, I always say that there aren't enough toilets in Lego buildings and MOCs. But this time I decided to take out the toilet because there just wasn't enough space. I felt it was important to have the things I mentioned in the first video, such as the reception area, the pharmacy, consultation office, and the operating theater. So there really was no space for a toilet. But I didn't expect subscribers to really want the toilet. So I revisited the interior of this build and I thought long and hard how to reconfigure it so that I could include a toilet. So let's have a look. So I've actually reconfigured the inside of the medical center, and you see that small cubicle over here. This is the toilet. It is small, but at least it can fit a toilet. I haven't placed the toilet in first. I've just done the outlay and the cubicle. As you can see, there's a door. I did change the back. Originally, there are two large blue windows, but we can't really have such large windows because of the cubicle. So I'll switch them to these two 1x2 columns. There's still symmetry, and at least there's some windows, and there's a bit of color as well for the back. And that's right, this window does look into the toilet. After all, you do want to talk to your friend if you happen to be using the toilet and your friend is on the back of the building. So I think this works now. In terms of the space, what I did was also to change the door for the operating theater. Originally it was on this side over here. There's also a large trans blue panel here, so I've blocked that out and made this all solid. For this side over here, a very minor change. I actually switched the position of these chests or cabinet pieces so that they open out to the doctor's consultation office, and that's good because now he's got some storage space as well. So everything works out, and I hope you're happy that I've now got a toilet, or I'm happy. And I've also changed some bricks around. You might notice some modified bricks, and that's for interior details that we'll be doing for this particular video, which is part 2. So let's start on the outside first, because we are going to do detailing. Now I was looking at this part over here and I felt it was a bit boring because there's nothing much. We do have one sign over here and we've got these nice drop lamps over here, but there's nothing over here. So what I've done is to take this out, or what I'm going to do is to take this out, and I have got a 2x2 white towel with this medical sticker on it, and this came from the extra sticker pack, and that fits over here like that. And I'll now take two 1x2 light gray towels, and now I've got a nice sign on the door as well. So this is more of the generic symbol for medical center because that's the Red Cross, but this is the logo for the particular business or organization who runs the medical center. So that's that. The next thing I'm going to do is just to towel this area over here. It's going to be very straightforward, mainly using dark gray towels and a 2x4 light gray towel here. And there we have toweling for the back as well as the front. Alright, now let's go to the interior, and let's start off with this main part over here, because this is going to be the reception area. As I mentioned, this is the main door that goes in, this is the door to the operating theater, and this is the door to the doctor's office or consultation room. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put together a toilet and put it inside this cubicle over here. And here we have the toilet bowl, and that's going to fit on the inside over here. But before I put it on the inside, I do want to towel the areas which this is not on. So I'm going to take a 1x3 towel and put it by the side, as well as a grill piece for the front. So I've added in the tiling and the grill, and this can now sit inside, I've placed a 2x2 plate here. That's to raise it the same height as the tiling. So generally when you build furniture and you're putting tiling, always remember to put a plate on the underside of your furniture so that it sits on the same level as the tiles. And then we have the toilet inside. Now for this top, what I just did was to take a 1x4 tile and I put this for decoration, and that goes above here. This is more decorative than for support because I've already built it into the walls. I decided not to build it all the way high for two reasons. One, it's so that you can see inside. It's really narrow, so if you make it high and it's narrow, it's very hard to see inside. So this allows me to see inside, and there's really no need to build it all the way high. So there we have the toilet. I hope Brenda and Paul, you're happy, and anyone who was uncomfortable that there's no toilet for this medical center. Alright, now let's go to stocking this area over here. It's going to be hard to reach in, so I hope I don't have to break this apart. But the idea is I want to take different bottles, such as things like that, and these represent different medication, and I'm going to just put them on the shelves over here and over here. For the bottom shelves, I've got smaller, I guess, jars of, it could be ointment or just pill boxes, but round ones, and I'm going to try to fit them inside, and that would decorate the pharmacy area. And there we have it, very simple decorations, but now it looks like this whole area is stocked with medication, just like you expect any pharmacy to be. Now let's build a pharmacy counter, or rather just a counter that the staff or the nurse will be manning. So this is the basic counter I've put together. It's got some curved bricks as well as this modified plate and just some regular plate. It adds some diversity to a build rather than just using square bricks. Now this is going to go somewhere here. I'm not going to press it hard because I will be tiling the area first. But the reason why I use this particular rounded cornered modified plate, it also allows a easy up access across here, because now we have this cubicle here. There's not much space, so I just want ample space for minifigs to comfortably get across from the main door over here to the doctor's office. Let's decorate the table and add some things. So what I've done is to add a computer, there's a phone, little notepad here, and maybe some water, I guess. So this can go over here, just like that. So that works out pretty well. I wanted to have a waiting area for my reception area. Now I don't have space, but I can put at least one chair, which will go right here. So what I'm going to do is to take this round towel or plate, place it underneath the chair. Now the chair, just due to the way it's designed, there is a back, so you can't just put it onto a stud or onto the plate just like that. You need to offset it by about half a stud, and anytime you want to offset something, you need a jumper plate like that. So this can go on here, and later I can just put this in the middle over here, and this will be secured in place, and the back of the chair will just hit the wall over here. So that will be my single chair for a waiting area. Alright, what else do we need? We need a sink. And the reason is, if you notice, the toilet has no sink, so you need to wash your hands. After all, especially this is a clinic. So I'm going to put together a very simple sink, and I'm going to use these trans blue panel pieces to form the sink, and that's going to go in the middle over here, just like that. And it'll be under here. Notice those studs, that's a modified brick, 1x2 brick in the wall. And what I'm going to do is to place a tap over here, just like that. And I'm going to have a soap dispenser, and imagine this is a canister with some soap, and that white stud is the button that you'd press, and that's how you clean your hands. What I do need to do is to add a 2x2 brick plate over here just to raise it up. Remember, you always need to raise it up by one plate high when you tile the floor. So the plate goes on here, and this can be placed over here. What I do need to do now is to tile this entire area, and I want to make things interesting. So what I'm going to do is to create a some sort of tiling in the front over here, and I came up with a design, something I designed beforehand, and this is it. Just a simple kind of a floor decoration. I'll be taking these tiles out and placing it directly onto the plate, but basically it looks something like that. And so that adds almost like a welcome area for the reception area, and the rest of the area can just be tiled. Maybe I'll do a combination of white and light gray. I think I'll do that. I'll do a combination of white and light gray with this design over here, and let's see how it works out. And it looks like we've done the interior. What I decided to do here for the entrance was to just give it that checkered look, more random, and I think it just looks different as you come in, and just because of the space that there is, so I thought that worked well. And then the rest is white and gray for the tiling, but overall that's the interior of this reception area and pharmacy and toilet. Let's move on over to this side over here, which is the doctor's consultation office. So the first thing I want to do is to build some furniture. What I'll need to do is to build a doctor's table, and I'll have to build some kind of a cabinet, and of course the patient bed or the couch, and also a chair for the doctor. So let's start doing that now. So this is a little filing cabinet where doctors will put all their patients' notes, and I'm going to put a flower pot over here. So I'm going to use this clear minifig top and put this flower over here, and this will go into this corner right here. And there you have it, the filing cabinet with the plant. Now there's space over here for the doctor's table, which will measure 2 by 4, and remember there's this little window over here, or hole. I mentioned this in part 1 of the video, and normally doctors will have this little window so that they can put prescriptions through or any notes for their nurses. So let me build the table next. And here we have the doctor's desk, very simple and elegant, with these 1 by 2 transparent bricks, studs for feet, and on the table we do have a computer, coffee cup, and some notes. And of course you can't read the handwriting because it's doctor's notes. And this is going to fit right over there. I'm not going to put it in just yet because I will need to do floor tiling, so I'm going to remove that for now. I'll remove this flower pot as well so that the desk can go in easily as well. I still need the patient's bed, which I'm going to put together and place it somewhere over here. And there we have the patient's chair, or I guess almost like a dentist's chair, but I guess it's fine for a doctor as well, so that they can examine the patient like that, or they can recline it all the way. Now because you don't have much room, or I don't have enough room in this particular space, so I'm maximizing space by having this all-in-one chair. So this is going to go all the way to the side, but I'm going to displace it slightly, and the reason is because if I have a minifig lying on the chair, and let's get a minifig, and we have my nurse over here. Her hair looks a bit too big, so let's just turn it slightly. See, if I place the minifig on, notice how let's just press that in, and notice how her hand is sticking out over here. So if I were to place this particular chair all the way against a wall, her hand would be in the way. We won't be able to lie a patient down. So I need to offset it by either 1 or half a stud. I'm not sure just yet. So let's put this in and let's decide. So from this little experiment, it looks like I can just offset it by half a stud. So I'm going to use a jumper plate for that. I think I can use 2 jumper plates. So I'm going to use 2 1 by 2 light gray tiles. So I have now offset the entire chair by half a stud. I took out the wall just to make it easier to put in, but I think this works. There's enough space for the doctor over here, and for the furniture I will need to have a chair, which I have got prepared over here. It's just a standard Lego chair, but I've put a round plate as well as a 2 by 2 light gray plate. Maybe I have to change it to a dark gray plate, we'll see. And that will go somewhere here where the table is. So I'm basically going to start by working off these 2 plates here. So sometimes when I tile to figure out what if what the sequence is if I'm using different colored tiles. In this case, I'm using dark gray and light gray in a checkered pattern. I always place down jumper plates first if I'm holding down something, or maybe a plate that's holding down any kind of furniture. So in this case, this is light gray, which means that the ones next to it will be dark gray like that. So this is how I figure out the position. So from here, I now can work out where the positions of the different tiles are, and then I can place the furniture back in. And this is what we've done. We've got everything inside. We've got the doctor's desk, his chair, that's the filing cabinet with the flowers, and we have the patient's bed over here, and that is a jumper stud, and that's so that I can place a doctor minifig here to attend to the patient. So that looks good. I think this is done. Oh, one more thing. These cabinets should be filled, and I've got a bunch of different items over here, and this came from a friend set, and this came from one of the minifigs. That's a cast that will go in over here. We've got thermometers, various items. I'm just going to chuck that inside. Maybe does it even fit? Let's find out. Yeah, it fits. And the spoon will go in with the cast for whatever reason. So now he's fully equipped. I'm going to build this back, and then we'll move on to the operating theater. All right, that looks great. Now let's move on to the operating theater over here. This is tricky. In fact, I think this whole particular build has been more tricky than previous ones I did. Now, if you look at it, maybe you think, what's the difference? You know, I've built so many different MOCs. What's so different about this? The main thing is the allocation of space, inclusive of room or clearance room for minifigs to move around, and in this case also clear passage ways to get from one point to the other. So there is a bit of an art and a science to it, where you have to figure out how to create details but at the same time ensure there's enough room that seems believable and logical for minifigs to actually move around. So let's come over here. So the first thing I need to do is to build the operating bed, or the patient's bed. So here we have the basic bed, which I think will fit in somewhere here. I will need to put an extra plate underneath, again, to raise it up. And let's put this together first. So I'm going to put this, and this is basically the IV drip over here. And that works out pretty well. So I'm going to place this right in the center, or more or less in the center. And this is so that there's room for minifigs to move around, but I'm not sure if that's the exact position because I want to put some things over here. Probably I'm going to put it somewhere here like that. Now notice I have studs coming out from the wall, and that's for different items. I'll get to that later. What I need is an Ekg machine, so I'm going to build that. And this is going to be a pretty simple build. You use the stand part. I've got a plate over here for the base. That's the machine. And let's build a top using this hinge piece, and then we can take a monitor part like that, and we have a simple Ekg machine which can go into this corner just like that. Next, I want to fill in the studs over here, and for the bottom 4 studs I'm going to take some control panel decorated pieces, and I'm just going to place them onto the wall. This will act like some kind of equipment which is inbuilt into the wall. And one space saving technique you can apply anytime you build things into a wall. You get a multifunctional use for the wall. So that's there, and on top I'm going to use a 2x2 plate and a 2x4 towel. This is a TV which I can then mount on the wall here. So this is very important in case the surgeon forgets what to do during surgery. He or she can check YouTube and just watch what to do. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. Sometimes there are microscopic surgeries and they'll need a TV screen to see what they're doing. Now let's come over here to this side of the wall. I want some kind of a light box for x-rays. And I'm going to use this 3x4 towel, decorated towel. Well, it's not decorated, but it's a modified plate. And this came with some minifig series. And I'm going to just take these towels. This is decorated. That's an x-ray of a lung. And this you might recognize as Homer Simpson's head, and that would act like a light box, and I'll put that about here, this high. and that's of course to refer to for the surgery. I'm now going to fill up this area of the operating theatre. One important thing to have inside is a sink and a tap for surgeons to wash their hands. So I'm just going to create a similar basin that I did previously for the outside. Put a 2x2 plate underneath, and that will go in this corner over here. And over there I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put a tap, and I'll also put the same antibacterial hand washing liquid over here, and that of course is wall mounted as well. Now there's a bit more space over here, and what I want to do is a surgical trolley, something to put all the different equipment for a surgery. So what I have over here is a cabinet, but this is a trolley, so I'm going to take these hinge base plates or base elements and put it underneath to form the trolley wheels like that. There will be a handle, so that can go on over here, and we need to put some equipment on the front of the trolley. So I'm going to use these modified plates with clips. I'm just going to put this over here to fill up the space, and then let's cap it with these towel pieces. And this is a jumper plate, so that this is like a little towel or something. And here we have two syringes which I can pop in over here. So this is a nice little trolley that you expect to find in any hospital or medical center, and that I can just place there. I don't even need to put it down. If I want, I can just put a stud. Maybe I'll just put a stud to be able to hold it down, and there'll be a stud underneath, and I'll just put a jumper plate underneath over here. Well, in this case I can't use a jumper. I'll need to put maybe a transparent brick or something just to hold it up in place. But that's basically it. I've kind of figured out the spacing for the operating theatre. I'm going to tile it completely white to make it nice and clinical and clean, and then we'll have a quick look inside. So here we have the finished operating theatre. You can see everything is tiled, it looks really sterile, and we have the trolley there. It's held together by clear studs, so it's held in place. It looks pretty good. There's actually one more thing to really complete it. We need lights for the operating theatre. So I'm going to build lights, and these lights will actually be built into the wall, and I have to hang them out. So let's build the lights first. I have the basic lights here. So I'm using these dish pieces with clear trans yellow dish pieces, and I've got these clip bar elements over here. I'm going to use this ball joint plate, and I'm going to build it into the top plate over here, which means I have to take this out. So this will probably go just here. It'll go in the middle just like that, I think, or maybe it should be, I guess, directly above the bed. So I think that makes more sense. And now I just need a 1x4 plate to replace it over here, and I can put everything back on top like that. So now I can build the light. So the light itself, let's see, let's take these elements together. I'm gonna put this like that. You know what, for the bed, I realized this piece goes under here. Yeah, that looks a bit more complete. Put that back there. Now back to the light. So I've got this assembly here using ball joints, and I've covered it with 1x2 towels. I'm gonna put this here, and this goes here, just like that. Now this particular operating theatre light was inspired by the Friends Hospital set. So I'm really just remocking it for my own medical center here. And you can see now we've got the lights perfectly above the bed, and of course they can move anywhere we need because it's on the ball joints. But that works really well. Alright, let's put everything back together and we'll see how the finished building looks like. So it seems the build is almost completed, but actually not just yet. We need the roof details and accessories, but first let me just give you a quick all-round view. That's a nice view into the operating theater. Obviously in a real medical center this won't be clear, but of course this is for the purposes of just building a Lego MOC, and that works well. And here we can see inside the consultation room as well. I like that symmetry on either side of the build, so when people actually see this MOC from a display perspective, to me this works really well. Now for the roof, because this is a medical center, I do not want to use the usual air conditioning compressors that I build. I want two completely different elements. The first thing I want to build is some kind of a cooling unit or electrical duct. This is large, and I found some pictures online, and I'm going to replicate this build that you see in front of you. So I'm going to put the parts together and we'll see if we can put this particular build together. So here are the parts to create that large rooftop cooling unit. I'm going to start with a base plate over here, and the first thing I want to replicate is on the left side, which uses this inverted slope brick over here. I'm going to cover the top with a cheese wedge piece, and the next thing I'm going to do is to take headlight bricks, and this is for the grills over here. And for this side, I'm also going to put some headlight bricks, and that will go like that. I'll need to fill in the space here, but let me work backwards. There were some grills over here, so I'm going to put modified bricks like that. And that's basically how I'm recreating the unit. I'm looking for the key features from the picture, and I'm recreating those key features first, and then I'm going to fill up the rest of the area. Let's use this modified brick over here that looks really industrial looking or machine looking, and let's build the rest up using bricks. So this is what I've built up. This is the basic structure of the cooling unit. I'm going to use plates just to hold everything together and to give it a bit more height. And let's just add in the grills. Based on the photo, this part here was black, and for the front corner they're dark gray, and that's what we're going to do. I really like these grill parts because they're just so versatile. Now to create that corner grill look, I don't have those modified bricks with studs on either right angle, so I'm just going to cheat a bit and just use one stud to hold these grill pieces. So that looks pretty good. Now one thing that particular unit had was a fan piece. Now I would typically use this piece over here as the fan unit, and that looks pretty good, as you can see. If I can put it on, that's, yeah, this side. So this works well for a fan unit, and if you are building something like that, you can do that. But I had the extra sticker pack, and it actually came with a fan sticker just like that. So I placed it on a gray towel, so that goes on top here, so that will be my fan instead. Of course, if I didn't have that, I'll just use this, but since I have the stickers, I'm fully committed to maximizing the use out of the stickers. Now I'll just towel everything up, and that's the completed cooling unit. Nice and big and industrial looking. Besides that industrial rooftop cooling unit, I want to design some solar panels, but differently from other solar panels I've seen that Lego has produced for some of their creative buildings. So I've got some parts over here. This will form the base of the solar panels, kind of a jumper plate, and I'm going to put this 4x6 plate over like that. Now to create some kind of a frame for the solar panels, I'll just use these modified plates with rails, and I'm just going to build round just like that. And you can follow this design if you want to build solar panels, if you do like the end result. Over here, I'm just going to put this here. I'll put this plate here, and I'm going to put a bracket over here, and you'll see why in just a bit. Now I'm going to take these light blue transparent 1x4 tiles. These are the solar panels, and then I'm just going to use 1x4 tiles over here to act as kind of a frame. So now that looks pretty decent, pretty good. Now notice of this here, I'm going to take a decorated towel as a gauge, just like that. And I've got this over here. This is really, just imagine this is some kind of a trunking or wires or cables that will go into the roof to supply power to the medical center. So let's now take this finished build and place both of them onto the roof. So here with the building, let's take this and we'll place this on this side. And we can just really place it anywhere that fits. So for now, let's just place it here. And I've got to find a way. Yeah, this has to be turned just like that. Let me just press this down. So that's the secure. In fact, I'll take this off for now. And for this, I can just put it in maybe this corner over here. Give enough allowance for minifigs to repair it if needed. And that works well, and it's just above the operating theater, so I think that makes sense as well. Well, there you have it. That is part 2 of building a MOC from start to finish, and that is detailing this medical center. I will be doing a review video of this particular medical center, and I'll figure out different scenes and different minifigs to include in the set just to make the entire build interesting. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos before you go.